Okay, so this is at -4. All right, so this is f of x, and we're going to look at x equals -4. All right. Now, I can write down the whole fun chart. So look, I've got the 4 columns up there. Notice that they come in different orders, okay? So, here are some of the different orders that it can happen in. Right, because I have some people at home, so I'm just going to show you. Okay, notice that right here, up to down, f of x. Okay, maxes, points of inflection. The maxes and the mins happen in between. Okay, so as I'm looking at this point, notice that it was an open circle, so that makes it in between. Okay, so I'm going to write my chart here, up, down. And because this is going concave up to concave down, this is the order that I'm going to write my chart in. Concave up to concave down. So f prime is positive, then negative, increasing and decreasing. Double prime is positive, then negative. Okay, so now I'm going to figure out what I have. Notice that it's in between because it's a point of inflection. So I'm going to go like this. It's a point of inflection. Notice that it's in the right order because this is concave up to concave down. So my columns are in the right order. So what do you see? All right, f of x is positive, which doesn't actually tell me anything, right? Positive is over here. Doesn't tell me anything. Okay, it's increasing, right? F of x is increasing. Where does that put me? That actually puts me here because I can see that it has a positive slope. But at that particular point, it also has a point of inflection. So then I'm just going to write down, what do I notice about f prime? Well, I've got 2 things that are highlighted here. Okay, f prime is positive. Notice that I skipped a space because this doesn't actually tell me anything. It's extra. Okay, point of inflection. Whew. All right, we're in between, so we have to look at the connection. This creates a maximum. Up, 0, down. So this is a relative max. F prime has a relative max, which is also a horizontal tangent. But horizontal tangent because look at that 0 slope thing, right? It looks like a horizontal tangent. Okay, double prime. Okay, notice there's nothing here about double prime, so we don't say anything. But down here, what's happening? Between the points, you always get the 0 on the plus minuses. Okay, so it's 0, and it's changing positive to negative. In between is the tricky part. All right, so I'm going to put a little arrow here. The arrow is the part that you can see. This is where you're like entering the chart. Everything else is like what you learn because of it. Okay. Now we're going to do one example with the number 2 graph. And notice that this is the f prime graph. So that little red arrow, we're going to come in on the 2nd row this time and look at what we have. All right, so let's pick a good spot. We're going to do this twice on this graph because it can get a little bit tricky. So let's pick this spot. I want to pick this spot. Okay. So we're going to look at x equals 7. Okay. All right, so I'm thinking of my chart, and I want to write my chart in the correct order, okay? So notice that this is below, okay? And this is above. I want to turn this into a number line, okay? Number line. 0, -2, 2, 7. Okay, notice F prime, they have the same label. Above means positive. Below means negative. So this is above, below, above, below, above. Okay. This is the spot I'm looking at, right here. So notice that F prime is negative to positive. So when I make my fun chart, I want to make sure that my F prime row goes in the correct order. Right? Look at how I changed the order of the first two columns because I wanted it to match what I see on my picture. F prime is negative, then positive. It's below and then above. I wanted to make sure it matched. And then concavity, I'll just write it. Okay. Increase, decrease, positive, negative. Because you can put these columns in any order you want. I just suggest that you try to rearrange them so that they actually match what is given to you. Okay, so I'm looking at x equals 7. So that's right here. That's in between. All right, so that's 0. I'm going to go ahead and min, right? Because that creates a min on the graph before it. Okay. Okay, there's one more thing that we can see, okay? I can see that it's 0. I can see that it's going negative to positive, right? Because this is what I'm coming in at, right there. Anything else you can see here? What about these two columns? Is F prime increasing or decreasing? Increasing, so I can see this. That's what I can see. All right, so here's where we're going to start. I can see that F prime is 0, and it's changing from negative to positive. I can also see that F prime is increasing. So now I want to say the rest of my sentences. Okay. F of x. I'm just going to say them in order. F of x has a relative min, and concave up. F prime is 0, negative to positive, and increasing. Double prime is positive. you've got to be able to switch the columns around to match what you see, okay? Notice, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit, okay? In this first example, okay, in the first example, I drew this up and then down, okay? Because of the max here, I switched the order because I could see the negative to positive. All right, we're actually going to do another example with the number 2 graph, okay? Because I'm going to pick a different spot to look at it. This time, we're going to pick this spot right here. So we're going to pick right here, which is x equals -4. The important part is that it's a minimum. So if you're drawing this at home, it's just the f prime graph and it's a minimum. All right, so I will write it in a separate color just so that we don't confuse it. So x equals -4. That's what I'm looking at. Okay, f of x, f prime, f double prime. I am still looking at f prime. So that's the row that you have to come in on. What can you see? Well, I can see, so let's go, I don't think that plus minus matters, so, okay, I can see that it's decreasing and then it's increasing. That's what I see. And I actually see that it's negative because it's below the axes. So f prime is negative and it's between, right? It's a minimum. Okay, this is the place where you start. What do you see? So that first column's not really necessary because I don't see it. All right, fill in the chart so that we can say the sentences. Okay, f prime is negative because it's below, see that? It's negative, it's below, and it's a minimum. It's a minimum on f prime. Okay, see if I can fill this out. Sometimes extra columns help me do it right. Concave down to concave up. Right? In betweens, the pluses and minuses always get the 0. Okay. Three sentences, one for each row. Just going to go and highlight everything that's corresponding. F of x is decreasing, point of inflection, and it's actually concave down to up. Right? How do I know that? Because I put my chart in the right order. I saw the minimum, which is down and then up, right? I had to switch those last two columns. That's how I know it went concave down to up. I'll re-say those words, okay? I know that it's going down to up because the columns are in the correct order. All right, f prime is negative, has a relative min. How do I know it's a minimum? Because it's the bottom of a hill. Minimum. And I suppose I could say has a horizontal tangent. Minimums always get, mins and maxes always get horizontal tangents. Okay, double prime is 0, negative to positive. F of 0. Where? Is. Is. I got you. Is. There you go. Okay.
double prime?
I'll let you finish writing. Now, these type of questions are from Delta Math. They might ask you to fill in the words for these in different orders, but try to write your sentences and then fill in the blanks that it's asking for. Okay. Match each graph with the derivative on the next page. Okay, so how do I match? Well, let's see. Minus, 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 minus. It's like pretending to draw. So minuses end up below on the derivative. So H. Okay, minus, 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 minus 0. Plus, 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 plus. So I'm describing the derivative. Minuses went below, right? Negative, tangent, slopes. Positive, tangent, slopes end up going above. Okay, so let's see. Minus, 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 0, positive. Oh, here it is. Below, 0, above. So this one is a P. Now, when I check this off, I will probably ask you randomly to describe how you made one of the matches. Okay? So, right, there's a keyword down here, so you should be able to tell if you got it. If you flip it over, you're doing the same thing. It's just smaller sets that you're matching with. Okay? All right. That's your assignment. Delta Math worksheet. Yep, I'm going to check the worksheet. If you don't finish the worksheet today, you just bring it back to me next class. Worksheets. Here you go. Yes, that one. So you might already have it. Especially if you were out one day, you maybe missed it. You have one? You're going to do both sides. It doesn't really matter which worksheet. There you go. All right. Okay. Kara, the worksheet is actually on Schoology. So let me see if I can't show you. If you go to materials, it should be this one right here. Okay. I will come around and answer